Hey everyone, Interim Dean Nick Pace here, and today I'm with future social studies educator Connor Cleakin. Connor, thanks for some time.
Of course.
So, closing in on student teaching,
Mm-hmm.
Future social studies educator.
Yep.
Let's start on the what's to come end. You're going to Fairbury,
I am going to Fairbury.
and what's going to happen down there?
So down there, I will be teaching, I believe it's 6 sections of social studies and help with the study hall.
Okay.
So down there, I'm going to be teaching 4 sections of 8th grade American history, 2 sections of freshman world history, and then I'll have that study hall at the end of the day.
Okay, excellent. Well, as a former social studies teacher, I feel you. I remember the days of 8th grade U.S. history, loved it. I don't know if the students always did, but I loved it. So are you the kid that was picturing yourself as a teacher from a young age, or did you arrive at this late, or how did it happen?
So I did a lot of like public speaking activities back in high school. So
Okay.
I did speech, I did one act.
Okay.
If we would have had debate, I probably would have did debate too.
Okay.
So being in front of people was always super comfortable for me.
Got it.
And my social studies teachers back in high school, they're like, Connor, I can see you being a teacher. I think maybe you should run with it.
Okay.
And at that point, I was like, I didn't know, because I took a college class through Southeast Community College my sophomore year of high school.
Okay.
And I was like, maybe this isn't for me.
All right.
So, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I started my college career at Cloud County Community College. And it was down there where I decided whether I wanted to be a teacher for sure. It was just something that I thought would be good, but I didn't know whether to do it in either business or social studies.
Okay. So what swung it to social studies?
So I ended up taking an intro to education class down there. And with that is our first round of practicum, right? Because up here, it was you had to take your first round of practicum, I think like your sophomore year or something. I took mine down at Concordia High School, and I was put into 2 classrooms. It was a 7th grade Kansas history class.
Okay.
And it was a senior level business course. My practicum at the social studies in 7th grade room was so much better than the high school one.
Okay.
It was a lot more engaging. The kids were super into the lessons that the teacher was putting on. And it was just an overall better experience than this senior level business course where there was 6 people in there. So it was kind of tough for me to get involved in this classroom, and I could get involved in this one. So it made it a little bit easier of a choice for me.
Okay. And so as a social studies teacher, what's the most appealing thing for you to teach? I mean, because right? I mean, there's a lot being said and written about the the state of the country and political divisions, and it's very intense, and there are lots of things going, and lots lands on social studies educators.
Yeah.
So what really appeals to you?
So when it came to learning social studies in high school specifically, I was really brought towards revolutionary time and Civil War time too. I like seeing how countries are being built up and kind of what happens. And one thing that I plan to do with my classroom is I want to have the tough conversations, right? Because we can talk about the Civil War, for example. There's a lot going on between Republicans and Democrats with BLM and stuff like that. So being able to maybe bring in some more modern ideas and being able to help my students understand what was going on specifically during the Civil War time period might make it a little easier for them to build an understanding. But being able to have those tough conversations in a helpful and a learning manner, I think, is something that has always drawn me into social studies, because it's just, everything happens for a reason, right?
Those social studies teachers that in high school kind of encouraged you, do they know what you're doing now and that you're kind of moving in that direction?
I go home every once in a while, and I'm really close with my 2 teachers that I had.
Okay.
So, and I'm always willing to go up and be like, hey, I'm doing my practicum right now. They're like, oh, how's that going? And I tell them stories about how it's going.
Resources for you, a source of ideas.
Yeah.
And where's home?
Odell, Nebraska.
Okay.
So I graduated from Diller Odell.
Okay.
Graduated with 18 kids in my class,
Okay.
15 girls, 3 boys.
Okay.
So it was a lot more one-on-one time, which was nice. Like I think the smallest class I had was 6 people. And the biggest class I had was maybe 16 to 17.
Okay. So small high school.
Mm-hmm.
When you got here, have you found it easy to navigate and make connections, or did you feel overwhelmed and lost, or did you just blend right in and find your space?
So when I was choosing college, that was the big thing for me. I didn't want to like fall within the cracks and stuff. So that's why I chose Cloud County Community College first, because I was worried about like just falling within and not really having a voice.
Right.
So being able to go to the community college, and I was super involved. I was an RA on campus, student senate, I was a tutor down there. It really helped me build my confidence up. So that way when I came up here, it made it a lot easier for me to run around, make friends, get a job now too.
Okay.
I've been making a lot of friends all over the place, especially in the education department in my cohort.
Awesome. So how would you sell? I always frame it as, teachers aren't choosing a job, you're choosing a life.
Yeah.
Right? It's a 24/7 endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
People just feel that pull, like it sounds like you did. So what advice would you have to folks that are considering a teaching pathway or teaching career?
So the reason I'm doing it is obviously not for the paycheck, right? A lot of people think that, teaching just doesn't pay a whole lot, and that's true. But the reason I'm doing it is so I can inspire the younger generation. So being able, if you're willing to take the time with the students, if you're willing to sit down and have the tough conversations, if you're willing to just talk with them, because one thing I tell a lot of people is we're with these students a third of their day, right? So you have about 8 hours where they're at home, 8 hours when they're sleeping, and 8 hours in the school, right? So if we're able to just spend that time and kind of just be there for the students, be there if they have questions, whether it's in content or just life itself, you're going to make a difference.
Okay.
And for the people that are wanting to do it, I'd say just do it, because we can be the reason that these kids are inspired to go do big things, right?
Well, I love it. And you can get a paycheck, but your paycheck might not provide you with the opportunity to have the impact that you just were talking about. Okay, so we first met in August out on Mabel Lee Athletic Field when we had all the welcome back activities, and you took a little spill in the I don't even know what to call them when you put the big
the big knocker balls.
Right. Other things beyond the classroom that you're going to be interested in as a teacher, sponsoring activities, coaching, other things. What's that look like?
So right now, I think, especially if it's like my first couple years, I kind of just want to get my toes wet, kind of feel out the school district itself. But at some point, either sponsoring like a speech team, one-act team. I've always thought about coaching baseball and basketball.
Okay.
Those are my two, those are my sports,
Okay.
And really what I kind of want to do is when I go down to Fairbury, I want to volunteer my time either in Fairbury itself or go back to my old high school and help out with stuff too, just so I can get my toes wet and get to that experience under my belt for future employers.
Okay, love it. Your time at UNL in the College of Education and Human Sciences, if I ask you to just capture it in one word, you're a speech guy, one-act guy. What could you come up with one word?
Unity. I feel like we're all united for the same purpose, for the same passion. And I feel like it's super easy for me to go and talk to, let's say, an English educator and kind of just have the same experiences. Being able to bounce off with each other really unites us together.
Love it. So a couple things. When you get into student teaching, that's demanding, right? It's hard. I mean, it's lots of hours and lots of time. Would love to hear how you're doing. Shoot me an email.
Of course.
Love to know how it's progressing for you. And thanks for letting us be a part of that impact.
Of course.
And equipping you to have that kind of impact that you're seeking. I hope you like ice cream.
I do.
Grab somebody and get over to the dairy store and grab some ice cream.
Thank you.
I recommend Heart of Gold.
Okay.
That's named for President Gold. It's vanilla and kind of brownie swirl, and it's got just a little bit of peppermint in it. I'm not an ice cream expert, but
That sounds really good, though.
I could become one probably. It is pretty good. So get over there. Thanks for the time, and thanks for letting us be a part of your path.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers.